Here, try a Red Bull.
We're about to watch Spider-Man.
Good.
I hope it's good. I'm worried.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can.
Let's do this one more time. You guys remember that? I mean, that feels like forever ago now, but anyway, I just got out of Spider-Man Brand New Day, and what do I think? I liked it. I don't know if people are complaining. I went and watched the movie. I come back home and I'm going to do my review. I don't know what anybody else on the internet has said. I didn't watch the trailer for this movie until after I finished the movie. So I know what's in the trailer. So anybody who's still trying to decide on watching the movie, I know what to tell you. I'm going to do my best not to spoil this movie, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Spoiler warnings. If you want to go and watch the movie and come back, I respect it. And one more thing, to answer anybody's question, yes, I did go see Spider-Man in a Batman costume. But let's not talk about that. So what did I think of this movie? I don't think this movie rises to the level of Spider-Man 3, the third one, the 3 Spider-Mans. I don't think that's a bad thing, though. I've always thought that the Tom Holland's Spider-Man has been too grand, too big to be Spider-Man. I mean, he's an Avenger, right? He's an Avenger. That's what he keeps saying. I was in the Avengers. What is that, a band? But I think the ending of the final movie literally brought Spider-Man back down to Earth, where he's going to be the friendly neighborhood defender of New York, which is where this movie takes place. And I think this movie does a fantastic job of that. I always thought Andrew's Spider-Man was the best of being the banter with the Spider-Man, and I always thought Tobey's Spider-Man was the best at being like the loser that gets punched down on. And I don't think Tom Holland's character was ever really those things. This movie really lets him be both. I think this movie does a fantastic job of marrying both of those together and making Spider-Man. And his suit is on point. It is a little bit of tech and a little bit of just regular ingenuity, and it is nostalgic and no notes on the suit. This is revealed in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler, but Spider-Man starts having the webs that come out of his body and starts becoming more spider than man. And that's revealed in the trailer, and that's why he needs to go see the Hulk. Now, this is again where these movies start dipping into a little bit more grand than Spider-Man needs to be. Frank Castle, the Punisher, being in this movie doesn't bother me. I think he plays off with Spider-Man really well. And he's also been the defender of New York. So him being in the movie, I think, really makes sense. But adding the other Avengers, there's more Avengers in this movie, and that's been a staple of all of the Spider-Man movies so far with Tom Holland. And at some point, we just got to let this guy breathe, I feel like. But that's just my opinion. That's how I feel. Maybe some other people think a different way. I think the combat scenes with Spider-Man are really good. Now, what I think the Spider-Man Homecoming, like, Tony suit gave Spider-Man, like, a bunch of different, like, options he can play with. And now with his simplified suit, there's really not a lot he can do. And it kind of becomes obvious because he gets his butt kicked quite a few times, I feel like. There's multiple times where it's like his villains know what he's going to do and they can anticipate it. And he gets knocked around a little bit more than you're like, oh, this is Spider-Man. He shouldn't be getting knocked around this much. But I think this other thing that Marvel's doing where they don't have to have a big final fight. They'll have something that leads up to it. And this was in Thunderbolts / New Avengers the same way. And it was kind of also in the Falcon Captain America movie where instead of like fighting, we're like talking to the villains. And again, this is the sympathetic villain thing that everybody's been complaining about. And that I do think at the very end of the movie has a sympathetic villain. I feel like it's the same issue that the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show had, where we have this villain who's like causing terrorism and being bad, but then they say actually the government is the bad guys all along. And the same was kind of in the New Avengers, where it was like, oh, the government's all along. And even in the previous Spider-Man, the Department of Damage Control is kind of the bad guys. Miss Marvel was the same way. The Department of Damage Control was kind of the bad guys. But if you remember Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man's defending the Department of Damage Control and trying to get all their stuff back. So here would have been my suggestion. We have this Rox Corp, which is, I think, here's the thing. I know Rox Corp from two different places. Lego sets, Marvel Lego sets that I played with as a kid, and then a little bit in Loki, and that's where I know them from. But I know that they're like the big corporation bad guys. So why don't we maybe incorporate them and like then it's like private equity, or maybe it's like, you know, the billionaires. So we could have played with it a little bit more than just saying, oh, the Department of Damage Control is the bad guys, because we've done that 4 or 5 movies now, and it's like, if the Department of Damage Control is the bad guys, get rid of them. Get them out of here. My other big complaint about this movie, and it's kind of my last complaint, is that the music in this movie is so lacking. And I feel like the other movies weren't like this. The other movies were very, like, bouncy, and they had, like, engaging music going along with it. And then this movie only has the little, like, revamped Spider-Man theme that they've had through all the different ones. And I didn't notice the music for the rest of the movie. I feel like all the other Spider-Man movies, I've noticed, like, the upbeat, like, bouncy, like, the feeling of the ambient music. And I complained about ambient music in Project Hail Mary, but this movie, now I'm complaining that there wasn't any. The only ambient music was just the Spider-Man theme that I noticed. All in all, I think this is a good Spider-Man movie. I think it actually accomplishes the protector of the city archetype that Spider-Man is, in my opinion. That's a Spider-Man cartoon that I grew up with. Was he's in New York and he's protecting the city from whatever's going wrong. And in this movie, he's cooperating with the police, and they have a really good relationship. And his friends are in this movie too. And I don't want to spoil there, because there is a real relationship dynamic, and I think all these actors do a really good job together. And I don't want to spoil how the movie leaves it, because they do. I think that people are going to be too excited for their inclusion in this movie, and some people might be disappointed with how it ends. That's where I'm going to leave that. I wasn't disappointed, but I was somebody who never really believed in the Peter Parker and MJ really until the third movie. I thought the second movie was an absolute slog with their relationship. I didn't care for it at all. So it didn't really bother me what happens in this movie, and I'll just leave it at that. Other than that, I really can't complain about this movie. I think if you go to a movie theater and you sit down and you watch this film, you're going to enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, I can understand that, because there were some aspects that I didn't enjoy either. I went with a friend of mine who doesn't watch Marvel movies, and he would lean over and he would ask me questions like, who's this, or why is this? And sometimes my answer was, I don't know. Like, this is a new character to me too. We're meeting them for the first time. And he was asking me, well, what's your opinion as somebody who actually does watch the Marvel movies? And I'm like, well, it's a good Spider-Man movie. You know, and that's, at the end of the day, that's what we all want, right? So that's all I've got. Thank you for watching. I don't know how to end.
Is it still the greatest movie in history?
It never was.